Welcome everybody to our mid-challenge boost of the 9th annual Logos and Mythos Summer Reading Challenge. I am so excited to have 4 of my favorite authors in the world with me tonight. This is going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to start asking them questions. So I'm going to keep my housekeeping stuff very brief. I will hopefully have this recording up tomorrow, which obviously those of you watching already know that, because if you're watching the replay, you realize when I put it up. So that was really a stupid thing to say, except for my sweet authors here, so you guys know when you can expect to see it. And then I hope that everyone is having a really great time with the Summer Reading Challenge. I will say the competition is stiff. Okay, guys, this is pretty incredible. We've got like neck and neck for points and for the books read. Like, it's crazy. We've already got at least 4 people who have finished the first 8 categories in the reading challenge, and they're like taking off on the other however many I have, like 80 other categories that I have for people. So yeah, they're like way down the list. It's crazy. And then points, I mean, we are just racking up the points. So quick reminder, come to these live and you will get 20 points. Replay, make sure that you comment either in the post in the group or on YouTube. Either one is totally fine. And you'll get 10 points for watching that replay. So I am going to dive right in with the questions because I don't want to lose any more time with these incredible women who are with us tonight. So for many of you watching this, these guys you've seen before, and you probably are so excited to see them again. But if you don't, I want each one of you to tell a little bit about yourselves. Tell us what you write, and also maybe share what you're currently working on or brainstorming or whatever you have going on. So I will just point out, like, I've got all these books back here. That's these ladies. They're pretty incredible. So, all right, this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to go in the order that I saw y'all on my screen. So, May, Alina, Rachael, Candice. Okay, so introduce yourselves. Tell us what you write, what you're currently working on or brainstorming or thinking about or dreaming of. Okay, so May, get us started.
Hi, I'm May Smith, and I co-wrote a book with Joy, and we hosted a podcast together for about 5 years or so. And I also have a write nonfiction and poetry right now. I've got the poetry book and then our nonfiction book. And currently I am editing my second poetry book collection. And here it is, guys. Look at all those papers. Yay! My dream is to finish a fiction novel. I haven't done that yet. So
You totally will. I have complete and total confidence, and it's going to be amazing.
Thank you.
Yay. Also, that is Bodhi behind her. We have to give, like, some pause to little Bodhi.
He's chasing the cats around the porch. We have a screened-in porch, so he's not going to go anywhere, guys, and the cat's safe. But but he hangs out with me sometimes. So we have to do this outside because the family's inside, and there's no safe place inside.
I feel like everyone in here can relate to that. That's great. Well, yay, I'm so glad you're here, May. So next we have Alina.
Hi, so I'm Alina Rubin. I write historical fiction. Me and Joy met a couple of years ago when Joy came out to Chicago for the ALA, and there was just another ALA in Chicago, American Library Association event, and I got invited to like the reception right afterwards. And so that was amazing to see, the current winners, the new winners. And cool news that I found out there, next year, ALA is going to be in New Orleans. So maybe I'll come visit you.
Okay, I'll be there.
Yeah. But I write is historical fiction. The last novel that I finished, which you may not have seen yet, is A Woman on the Knife's Edge. So this concludes the Hearts and Sails series. So this is the latest of Ella's adventure, and probably really have the Hearts and Sails for her. So what I'm working on right now is the book Abigail's Song. I see it right behind you. It's getting a sequel. So that's that's what I'm working on, and my goal is to finish that and publish, I think, that November or December. And then I already have a vision. I want to switch to historical mysteries. So I'm currently doing a lot of reading of Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes and, a lot of great mystery authors and craft books on mysteries. I want to start writing, like a cozy murder mystery that happens in 19th century London.
That's so exciting. Sorry, I'm getting very excited here. So I have an idea for a cozy mystery series as well. So it's like we're gonna have to talk soon.
Oh, great.
That's awesome. All right, Rachael, you're up next.
Hi, I am Rachael Ritchey, and I write fantasy fiction, and then for fun, a little bit of science fiction, anything that suits my fancy at the moment. But lately, I have been working on a prequel to my series, and that is taking me many years to get there. But we're getting really close, so hopefully I'll cross the finishing line, put it that way, this year, and then be able to publish by early next year. And I am an indie author, so I basically run the whole business. I also do cover design, so I've done all the cover design for my current series. This is the one that's getting the prequel. And the big thing I'm working on right now that I'm excited about, other than the prequel writing, is that I have started recording my own audiobooks. So that's been a fun little learning process to go ahead and do that. And I think it's going pretty well. And I will hopefully have The Beauty Thief recorded and ready by late probably this fall. Yeah, it'll just take a little bit of time, but it is quite a process, I have to say.
That is awesome, and I can't wait to learn from you. You're like blazing the trail so that I can learn from you, I hope.
I'm happy to share.
Oh, awesome. And those of you who might know, Rachael also is my cover designer. So all of my gorgeous covers, this is the girl who makes them happen. Oh, yay. All right, Candice, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Candice Marley Conner. I am in my bookshop Haint at the Haunted Bookshop, which is how I met Joy. And that was in 2019, I believe, when she came into the bookstore, Mobiles. That was awesome. I have 4 books out in the world, 3 picture books, and a young adult Southern mystery. I have a project that I've signed a contract on, but I cannot say anything else. But I'm super excited to finally have that contract signed. But as soon as the Publisher Weekly comes out, then I can shout it from the rooftops. And then I have another project that's with my agent now, and so I'm just waiting for feedback. So it's very exciting around the inbox right now.
That is so exciting. So is the one with the contract, is it one that we might have read the pitch for at the Mobile Literary Festival?
Not at the last one. No, I didn't pitch. But I did tell you about it at the Literary Festival. So yes, you're on the right track.
Okay, so excited. No spoilers, no spoilers. All right. Well, I have another question that I'm going to ask each of our authors, and we're going to go in the opposite order. So we'll do Candice, Rachael, Alina, May. Okay. And then I'm going to open it up for some questions from our readers. But because this is the mid-challenge boost, what is something you do to give yourself a boost when you're in the middle of a project or event, like a reading challenge? What motivates you?
So I took the question to be what motivates me as a writer, because it does seem like there's a good bit of writers also in the challenge. And I like to take myself on field trips when I'm working on a project. So the manuscript that's with my agent right now, it has carnivorous plants in there. And so when the bogs were showing off, me and my family went with the Sierra Club and went on a field trip there. But as a readerly answer, I would say changing up genre helps a lot. Also, the short stories like the animal vignettes has been awesome. It's kind of like I'll read a book and then I'll read a couple of the stories and then I'll go and read a novel and just go back and forth. And so that way it keeps it all fresh.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you're reading them. That's so sweet. All right, Rachael, what about you?
Oh, I was too busy listening to Candice to think. Well, when it comes to reading, I do so much reading in the fantasy and sci-fi genre that when it comes to like the summer challenge, there's so many other genres that come up in the midst of it that definitely I agree with Candice is that changing between things definitely is refreshing, and it makes the things that I normally read better later too, because then I've kind of left that genre and then come back to it. But yeah, I think a lot of what I find refreshing is just doing something else for a little while and then coming back to it. And then a routine. I oftentimes read at night before I go to bed. So that if I keep that routine, then I make it through so many books.
I love that. The combination of the variety and the routine. I love that. All right, Alina, what about you?
So for me, it's just like what the other also said. It's changing it up and then the routine. So I have a routine for writing. I write every morning, and I like to read later in the day. So it just being in my favorite space and whether I'm reading or writing and doing it every day. For my writing, I like to kind of have a spreadsheet of my chapters, and I actually write, check off when I finish the chapter. So I do it for each draft. So just there's some satisfaction that I crossed off that I've done certain chapters and crossed it off, and can see that how I'm getting to the end. And I like to change it up. I do a lot of research, so I may have to go through like 7, 8 research books, and then I just have to pick up something funny and light, and something that's going to make me laugh, something that's modern and not set in 18th century anymore. So that helps.
That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. All right, May, what about you?
I'm a lot like these guys. I will say, as a reader, if I get to a place where I'm not feeling the urgency to read at that moment, I'll either do a reread of something that I know that I love, that I haven't read in a long time, and it kind of gets the feelings going, and I know I'm not going to be disappointed. And sometimes I don't remember all of the nooks and crannies of the story either, so it's still a bit of a surprise sometimes. I'm rereading right now, actually, the Throne of Glass series, because the first time I read it, like, I was a little disappointed in it, but now then the second read, I'm seeing all of the foreshadow and all of the little not tricks, but maybe the strategic things that the author did in order to get us from point A to point Z, and it's really good. Like, I get to change my opinion, right? Because I'm a lady and a human being, but that's been a lot of fun lately. Another thing as a reader I'll do is I'll change how I'm consuming the story as well. So if I'm reading with my eyes, I'll switch to my ears, and if I'm reading with my ears, I'll switch to my eyes, and so it'll give me a little bit of a way to push through a story that maybe I'm not fully immersed in at that moment. So that's me as a reader. As a writer, I have a bit of a hard time. One of my blocks is moving from input to output. And so that research and learning, everything that you're doing, Alina, like, I would get stopped. Like, I would want to just keep consuming. And I have a tendency to stop there. But what I will do is gift myself a vacation day, because I also have a 9 to 5. An 8 to 5. I went Dolly Parton there for a second. I apologize. But I have an 8 to 5, so I have a hard time like taking off days. So I will gift myself a vacation day that will be nothing but a writing day, and so that will help move me from the research mode, or just like writing in tiny little spurts when I feel like nothing is coming together and everything is going to take so long. I'll take a day off, which doesn't happen very often, but it does whenever I need it to, I guess. To just work on that project and get some good momentum and forward progress. Did I answer your question?
Yes, that's such a good answer. I love for both reader and writer. Such great answers. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I want to do now is open up for our readers who are with us today. So Martha, Faith, and Ariely, I'm so happy that y'all are here. If you have any questions, just unmute yourself and ask, or if you would rather, you can drop them in the chat and I will read them out. You can ask a particular author a question, or you can ask a question for everyone. So I'm turning it over to you guys.
So I guess I know Joy's answer is that she has a job. She's trying to write. She doesn't get to read a lot. I've already talked to Joy about that in the past. So for you guys, really, if you want to just take turns and answer, like, do you have like an 8 to 5 job as well as the writing? And how do you squeeze in reading with all of that? So I don't know what order you want to go in. Joy can set an order, but
Y'all just go for it.
okay.
I read professionally, so I'm working in a bookstore. It's actually my job to read, which is awesome. So I get a lot of advanced reader copies that need to be read, and the more advanced reader copies I review, the more that they send me, which is great. And occasionally I'll even have publicists contact me and send me bound manuscripts. So then my review gets put in an ARC, which is like the coolest thing ever because I love seeing my name in print. Even if it's not a byline, even if it's just a review, I love seeing my name in print.
I love that. I don't actually have a standard 8 to 5. I do a lot. I'm an odd jobs person, so I do a lot of things, but not on a consistent like 8 to 5 schedule. So as far as like balancing, it was balancing like time reading books and like consuming books and work and things like that. I love switching to audiobooks during the day when I'm doing things that are a little bit more mindless. Like once a week we go for several hours and go clean our church. That's part of just our regular routine. So oftentimes my daughter and I will turn on an audiobook and we'll listen to the book while we're cleaning. And then anytime I'm vacuuming or doing laundry, often driving, those are all times when I will pick up a book with audio reading, which is another reason why I'm so excited to get my books recorded. I'm having so much fun acting out the parts too on that. That's a whole nother story. But then, like I said, my routine is usually to read at night. So sometimes those are the only times I get to read. So it is hard to fit them in because there's just always so much going on. And if you have a family, you know, your time gets filled up with stuff for the kids, which I'm on my last one. She's getting ready in the next year to fly the nest, which is a little bit sad. But and so, you know, you just kind of pick up where you can and do what you can. And that's my treat to myself is reading. So that's when I find the time.
I'll jump in now. I don't have the 8 to 5 anymore, but I used to. I was in IT for 23 years. So when I worked and had to commute, I read on the train, and often, you know, right before bed too. Now I feel like it's more without the job, it's more hectic. I feel like sometimes, like, when did I ever have time to have a job? You know, I do all kinds of also odd things. So some things for clients. I do book formatting. I also sometimes read arcs or new manuscript. You know, give advice or coaching to new writers. But I try to kind of schedule time, like something like usually between 7 and 8 is my time when maybe I want to watch TV or maybe I want to do something else, but I tell myself, no, I need to read. And I haven't really gotten into audiobooks. I feel like I need to see how words are spelled, how, you know, how the author wrote, you know, maybe highlight. I like to highlight good sentences. So I read with a lot of kind of immersion, like I need to kind of visualize the characters, the scene, and I think I'm learning a lot from, you know, reading really great books. So I feel like it's part of me. My job as a writer is to give myself that time every day to read, kind of read like a writer and try to really understand the story, pay attention to the words that the author used, and, you know, learn from great writers.
That is one thing about flipping from audio to you know, your tangible book is the words don't always look the way that you think that they're supposed to look when you start listening first.
That's what I was going to say.
Especially with Sarah J. Maas. I think she does it on purpose sometimes. It's like her little author trick, you know, or something. But yeah. So I have a job. I actually transitioned. I'm working at the same place, but I've transitioned to a different position where I actually have a lot more alone time and a lot more like monotonous things to do from my 8 to 5. So I get to listen to the audiobook while I'm sorting mail and putting things away and that sort of thing. So that's kind of nice to be able to have that downtime to just be able to consume in that way. I do have 2 young children as well, Faith. So I have an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old, and they still want to like hang out with me. So I'm kind of digging that. So I do try to hang out with them as much as possible. So my other way that I read is probably not super healthy. So please don't do this. But sometimes I do sacrifice sleep to finish the story.
You're not alone with that. Like, I feel like we can all.
Okay, so I would just tell you that I went to bed at 2:00 this morning because I was reading Riley, and I literally picked it up yesterday evening to read a chapter before I went to bed.
We all know how that goes.
And at 2 a.m. it's like, yeah, it's church in the morning. Maybe.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to read that book. So that is Riley by Anna Perot. You can tell me if I said that wrong, but she is sharing Ashton, her first book in the Yellowstone Descendants series this summer, but Riley just came out, which is the second one in that. And so I'm very eager to read that one. So, all right. So who else has a question for our authors?
Oh, I'd like to ask a question. This is
Yay!
Early.
Hey.
Where is your favorite place to write?
Good question. Let's see. Who wants to get us started?
For me, it's easy. This very desk where I'm sitting right now. I never write unless I'm traveling and I'm pushing myself to write in the hotel or something like that. This is where I'm writing.
I was basically going to say the same thing. I find that when I'm in my little corner, just with the same consistent routine, that's where I have the most ease in writing, the least distraction, and it flows a little easier. But I honestly love sitting on the couch writing too, looking out the window.
I had an author friend talk about how she made writing a ritual, and so it helped her brain get easier into the writing process. And so mine is on my desk also, and I'm in the our spare bedroom, which is also a library, and it's also my kitten Max's bedroom. But once I'm in here, like my brain is like immediately, it's like, okay, we're going to get to work here. So.
I'm just excited to write anywhere. I feel like I like my home the best because I do feel that's my super safe place. So I think that I do feel more freedom whenever I'm at my house in a particular place, But with poetry, particularly, I don't think sometimes I get to choose when something sparks with poetry. It's very emotional driven and just kind of happenstance driven. So I do have like a notes app on my phone. So I think probably my first draft is written on my phone wherever I am. And then the editing does get done mostly at my house, unless I did like a writer's retreat and I went somewhere. My wooden table decided to attack me. Sorry. But yeah, so it's what part of the writing process, I guess, too. So there's probably, I would think that there would be more inspirational places if you were writing like long form something. Is that right, ladies?
I know, like Candice, for a lot of the things that you write, your inspiration really comes in the great outdoors.
Mm-hmm. I can write. Mia made a good point that when I do write poetry, it is usually outside, so I can be in with the inspiration. But usually I'm just, if it's for a novel or something like that, then I'm just taking notes. So I'm in the input process, as she mentioned earlier. So I need to be at my desk, removed from it, so I can then write about it.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of similar to that. It's absorbing it while you're in the midst of it, and then bringing it back with you. Like my books like are very inspired by the Northwest, like the fantasy setting. So like the state of Idaho and Washington, a little bit like Alaska, sort of setting, because that's where I grew up, and that's where my mind was most immersed in all these different landscapes, because the terrain, the climate, the geography is very wide and different across that area. You have high deserts, forests, rainforests, ocean, lakes, like everything. So what I'm doing right now with writing my current novel, because that setting is continuing, it's a prequel, I've had to because I moved to Florida, you guys. I'm like totally separated from the Northwest now. I have to go and look at pictures while I'm sitting at my desk to kind of get the feel back, because it's been a long time since I have been able to go out and kind of feel that. And I think that is so important for writing and like a setting really well, is to have experienced it, or at least to have experienced parts of it. So I use a lot of photographs to help me like kind of get back into an inspired place when I'm writing, which really, really helps when you're sitting at your desk. I love the way you said that, Candice.
Yeah, so May, I'm curious. So, like you talk about with poetry, like emotions are a lot of your inspiration. Like that is a lot of the inspiration behind poetry, because it is so emotional. So, because I know a lot more than they do about what May is writing as far as fiction goes. Where do you find inspiration for some of your fiction?
I think it's a lot like what Candice and Rachael were talking about, where you have these experiences in these places that are special to you, and you want to kind of bring them into a story, bring the outdoors in and that sort of thing. So right now, heritage is in a story idea that's mine, and so heritage that I've not really had a chance to really immerse myself in. So it's mostly research right now, and podcasts and books, and hopefully I'll run into some people who'll want to talk to me, and that sort of thing. But things that I'm curious about, things that I don't know, questions that I might have. Poetry is a lot for me. Poetry, and it's not for everybody. So I'm not trying to speak to all of the poets of the world, but poetry is a way for me to understand myself more. So it's writing through emotions, it's writing through events, it's writing through moments, and trying to figure out what I think about them. And so it just has always come out that way, even from when I was in middle school and and younger. So I think that poetry and prose are probably different. And you'll have to say so too, Joy, because I know that you have written some poetry yourself, because I helped you. We did a workshop. It happened. And it was really good. But so things that I want to know, things that I do know, and things that are forced upon me, I guess.
That's a great answer. I love that. The trifecta. Alina, would you like to add anything to like the inspiration aspect?
It's very hard because I actually write like you guys said, settings important. I keep writing about places where I have never been. I've never been to England, and that's where almost all my books are based. And the book I'm writing right now, it happens in St. Petersburg, Russia, and I've been to Russia, but not to St. Petersburg. So I guess I keep drawing with, I guess, where I feel like the story would make sense historically, and then I just I envision that place from the movies, from pictures, and then I write the story, and then I kind of go into the real detail. Well, actually, what flowers are blooming in June, or what's going to be the weather in October. Then I get into these details that to make it real, so people who actually been to those cities don't write to me later saying that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I find that a lot can be forgiven when you have emotional honesty, though, Alina. So I bet that even though you haven't been to like historical London, that you're covering your bases with your characters and your development there. I would guess.
Love that. Okay, so any other questions from our readers? Any other questions? I'm going to draw a name in just a moment, but I want to see if we might have one question before I do that. No pressure.
Not a question, but I was just going to comment that it's exciting or interesting to hear that several of you are working or will be working on cozy mysteries, because I've found, or I've had a hard time finding any of those lately that aren't in the paranormal, witches, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I won't do those.
That
so
makes sense. Yeah,
it's interesting to hear that other people are getting into it.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited to hear more about Alina's. And of course, hers is going to be historical. Mine is more modern. But I would also love to hear from you, Martha. Like, if you do find some good ones, like as you're searching, like if you find some good cozy mysteries that you're enjoying, I would love to hear what they are. Because I know, like Alina said, you know, reading books, like seeing how, learning from the great writers, like I want to do that as well, because this is obviously a brand new thing. So definitely share with us.
I think most of them that I've read are, there were a couple number of years back that I read, but I can't remember who they are right off. But most recently, the only ones I've read have been Jan's.
Okay, yeah, she's great.
Yeah, but other than that, I haven't run across any that.
Have you read any Anne George?
No.
She was a Birmingham author, Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh.
And she sells really well in the bookstore.
I might actually be able to find that in the library then.
Excellent. It's two sisters, and they always get caught up in some murder somehow. And I don't think there's any kind of paranormal in it. But yeah, I hear good things about that series.
Okay.
I'm going to have to add that to my list. For sure.
So, I read it, Candice.
Yeah, we're all like jotting down. That's so great. So, and this is something that, like, I have a feeling in our book clubs, which we have book club Thursday night. So anybody who can come join us, that will be at 8:00 Central. So that's usually the first Thursday of each month at 8:00 Central. Second Thursday this month, because last week I was off on my 20th anniversary adventure. So that is why we're doing it this week. But I have a feeling we're going to have some conversations in the next few months surrounding cozy mysteries there. So, all right. So I'm going to do a very quick draw a name here. So for those who come to, we had our kickoff, the boost, and then we'll have one more, the wind down and winner's toast at the very end. Whoever comes live, I put your names in a basket and I draw, and this is for our prize pack, our swag prize pack. So here we go. And I think I've received all of the author's stuff at this point. So I will be sending out our first one to that winner and to this winner this week. Okay, so Arilee, you have won our swag prize pack for this time. So I'm going to put this here. Congratulations.
Yay, thank you.
Yay, awesome. And I already have your address. So I will just make myself a note here. And now we've got like 5 minutes left, a little less than 5 minutes. So what I want to do is go around to each of our authors again, and I want you to share a book that you have read recently that you really enjoyed, that you might want to recommend, but then also please tell us what is one thing that you would love the readers to do. Would you like for us to follow you on Instagram, or go get your book, or write a review, or what would you love for us to do? And you're welcome to drop some links down in the chat for us as well. So let's do this. Let's go Alina, Rachael, Candice, May. Okay.
Okay. So the book I recently read, which was my kind of like change of pace book, and it turned out so good, The Wedding People by Alison Espach. So it's just such a nice summer read about a young woman who English professor got divorced. She's very depressed, and she comes to this hotel, and her mind, she has this plan to commit suicide. But then there's a wedding, and she becomes part of the wedding. And before she knows that she's a maid of honor, she's all busy with this wedding and helping the bride, and it just turns out to be a cutest story. Yeah. And what I would love for you guys to do is to download my book, Hearts by the Sea, which is also a nice summer book, and get on my newsletter.
Okay. Well, I'm drawing a blank on books right now. Totally blank in my mind. Right now, I'm reading an advanced reader copy of the third book in a series, and I will tell you, I love this series, so I was really excited I got to do an advanced reader copy. It's for an author named Morgan L. Bussey, and it is Winter's Maiden is the first book in the series, and it's like Nordic Viking sort of inspired fantasy series with there's magic, there's like these special abilities, and like some people can talk to animals and stuff like that. So it's an adult fantasy. It's not YA, but it's if you care, it's like a clean series. There's if that matters to anybody. But other than that, it's just really compelling. It's interesting. The Viking setting, I think, is really popular right now. But she did an excellent job building these characters. The third book is tying it all up. Slow burn romance throughout the whole thing. So you're talking 3 books of like the characters. But anyway, so that's what I'm really enjoying right now. I would recommend definitely starting with Winter's Maiden on that if you like fantasy novels. And then for me, I would love to see my second book in my series get more reviews. So I'm happy if you want to reach out to me to send you an ebook copy of the book if you would like to read it. You don't have to review it, obviously, but if you wouldn't mind reviewing it, I would very much appreciate it. And just like kind of raise those reviews on Amazon and Goodreads and things like that so that more people find out if it's the book they want to read too.
What is the name of it?
It's called Captive Hope.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just going to bust in very quickly because we're like at a minute. So if we get cut off, then I want us to all come back, same link, okay? It might take me just a few minutes, but I just want to throw that out there, okay? Are you good, authors? Okay.
So I have been reading a lot of fairy fantasy, which I usually don't, but it started when I read Cassie Grutman's Storm of Magic, and then I just picked up this one, and it's like a cozy fantasy, but it's set after World War I, so it's also historical cozy fantasy. So I really enjoyed it. And so what I would like readers to do is follow me on Instagram, so that way when I can announce my news, y'all can all see it and celebrate with me. It's Candice Marley Conner.
Well, let's pick up from the start, May. Okay.
Try to go fast. The book that I wanted to share with you guys was 4,000 Weeks. Time Management for Mere Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. It's kind of changed my whole life a little bit. So I've read it once, and now I'm taking his class on BBC Maestro, and I want to read it again. But I've been through like the last 7 months, I think, has been like a huge season change for me in my life. And this book is really starting to click now. I read it before, but it's really starting to click and just kind of help me reassign my priorities and understand that 4,000 weeks is not a lot of time that we have on this earth. And so we got to be picky about where we put our time. So that's really cool because I wasn't raised that way. I was raised in a different way. It's like you have a list and you do the list, right? So that was cool. I'm about to have a 5-year anniversary on Grief Like a River. So in July. So I would love if you have read it, if you could please leave a review on Goodreads or Amazon. If you haven't read it, it's in Kindle Unlimited, and in other places too. And it's a book of my heart. So yeah, and I am also on Instagram as well under May MEA, the writer. And I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm revamping a lot of things, so stay tuned.
So we just need to follow you and see what happens, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
That's great. Okay, so I'm going to give y'all a little sneak peek that I haven't even told May about this, but so the last week is my featured week, so I will be giving away 2 books that week, and nobody knows this yet but y'all. I'm also giving away a copy of May's book. So it is a beautiful book of poetry, and so if you want to read that, then you better be very involved that week. So that's my little plug. Thank you guys so much for being here. Each one of you are just wonderful authors. Your books are so beautiful, and I love getting to chat with each of you and share you with readers. So thank you for being here, and thank you to our readers for being here. This was a wonderful night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.